Recording in progress.
Okay, calling the March 23rd Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. Roll call.
Commissioners, when I call your name, please indicate that you are present. Chair Moralia,
Present.
Vice Chair Nagaya,
Present.
Commissioner Admire,
Present.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz is excused, Commissioner Finland,
Present.
Commissioner Roddy,
Present.
Commissioner Fine,
Present.
Commissioner Ferguson is excused, and Commissioner Phillips.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Awesome.
The agenda was posted on March the 18th. Yes? Okay,
Yes.
good. Good for me for knowing that. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from last time? Any changes to the minutes? If not, could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
And we will do a roll call vote. Chair Moralia,
Approved.
Vice Chair Nagaya,
Approved.
Commissioner Admire,
Approved.
Commissioner Davis,
Approved.
Commissioner Finland,
Approved.
Commissioner Roddy,
Approved.
Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Phillips.
Approved.
Motion approved.
Excellent. Time for public comment. This time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Parks and Recreation Commission on agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the commission. Although the commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 3 minutes are assigned for each speaker. Do we have anyone live and in person? Come on up. You don't need time.
Thank you.
Start that timer. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is David Hyams, a resident here in Palm Springs. My wife and I participate at Demuth Park. We're members of the gym there. And I'm here actually for a couple of thoughts this evening, looking at the mission statement here, providing excellent quality of life for current generations. Well, my wife is an active participant in an aerobics class there, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays when she can. And I want to publicly personally thank Jace for his wonderful contribution to Palm Springs and the citizens of Palm Springs, and I'm sure other Coachella Valley cities. It's a wonderful class, free of charge. All you need is that $5 a year card. I scan it every time I go in to work out. We sign in. $5 gets you access to that. I know Demuth well. At $5, come in, play some puzzles. It's a nice, comfortable environment there. Gym costs extra, I know that. Boxing's extra, whole different deal. But there's so much there that can be accessed. Computers upstairs. I'm telling you what you know. But I believe that should be accessible to all citizens, residents here in Palm Springs. So we've got to find a way, and so I'm here tonight to learn about the foundation. There's got to be a way that anybody that can't afford that $5 annual membership, I even understand that James O'Jesse, the gym is included with that $5. Wonderful. Let's get access to any resident in Palm Springs that isn't able to afford that $5. I'm here to learn about the foundation, and I'll be putting my financial support behind that to make sure that this happens, and at least there's an opportunity for all to enjoy at least a nice place to just hang out. I guarantee you, if you come by during the summer, my wife and I will be there in the gym. It's a great way to get exercise comfortably. Maybe I'll even eventually take a class. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm Tom Shea.
I'm actually from Minnesota, Old Town, Minnesota. I'm a winter visitor here, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank City of Palm Springs for the great facilities that you have. In particular, I want to mention Tockwitz Golf. I'm a golfer, great facility, really good courses, but in particular, I want to call out the staff. They are just excellent. I played in numbers of places all over the country, some really high-end courses, some others. I have never experienced, well, I shouldn't say I've never experienced the same. These are top-notch from anybody in the country, from the pro shop to the restaurant to the cart guys to the starters, even the grounds crew are just incredibly courteous and so I just wanted to call that out. I know from experience that this body sometimes at public comments doesn't always get compliments, so here I'm glad I'm the second one there. So I wanted to be sure to say that as a winter visitor, to let you know that we appreciate it. I know other people that do. Now, that being said, the geek that I am, I just wanted to mention a couple things. One is things I'm sure you already know, but I just wanted to point them out from experiencing it. The intersection, 34th and Country Club Road. There's about 16 conflict points within a 100-feet radius between two bike paths, cart path coming across the road, 34th intersecting with that. A new signal light's been put in. I don't think it's been quite tweaked so that there aren't some issues. But anyway, I think, you know, it's something just to be aware of. And then the other thing is the bike path that goes under Gene Autry. I've experienced over the, this is our sixth season here. I've experienced at least, in just the brief time that we go under, 3 crashes of bikes that come through, and it's kind of a tight turn, and you're going downhill, and if you're going fast to begin with, and you're going downhill, then somebody might be coming the other way, and then you go from sunlight to shade. I think it might be worth consideration to have just a warning sign on each side saying, you know, underpass, you know, caution, whatever. And the surface under there is not uniform. There's a few cracks in that. So anyway, I just want to thank you, thank your staff, and make sure to pass it on to them because they do a great job. Okay. Thanks.
Hi, you're all doing a fabulous job. My name's Debbie Good. I live in Palm Springs on Camino Norte. I want to acknowledge both of the previous speakers because I've participated in Jace's class over at Duluth, and they're terrific, and also walk along the path as well. Thank you, Jace. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that we're hoping to get Mike Koth with the fitness center in the park getting going. You know, we got approval that it was going to be started in January, and then we were told it was going to be started in March, and it just sort of seems to be going on. And it's hot. I mean, we had over 75 people at the class a few days ago, last week, and it's a tough thing to be exercising in the heat, and this is only the start of summer. So anyway, I would really hope that we could sort of, you know, see what we can do to move that towards the forefront of you know, getting some help and response. Anyway, thank you all. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I saw somebody else sneak in.
I wrote mine down because I'm nervous. Hello, everyone. My name is Celia Barragon. I am a teacher at Palm Springs High School. I also am the head coach of the varsity volleyball program there. And, sorry, I'm really nervous. I'm a wife to a football coach and a mom to 2 boys. I'm here today today to speak on behalf of the cancellation of the youth basketball program at James O. Jesse. Sorry, guys, I'm really nervous. Yeah, this. As a parent, I was saddened because as a mom trying to navigate raising kids, I was happy to see that there are opportunities for my kids within the community. As a teacher, these programs are so important for our youth. Teaching at the high school, I've learned that these kids crave community, friendships, and a sense of belonging. As a coach, I'm noticing the difference between opportunities on one side of the valley to the next when it comes to sports. We have so much talent here on this side of the valley, but our kids go elsewhere to showcase. Having a great youth program can develop a deep love and loyalty to Palm Springs. The youth program at JOJ has been awesome. The coaches care about the kids and teach basketball in a fun and meaningful way. There are high school kids volunteering and giving back. The drills teach skill confidence and personal confidence. My son loves the basketball program, especially his coach, Miss Angie. Programs like youth basketball will teach our kids communication, how to move your body, taking direction from adults, and teamwork. These are all things necessary to become a strong contributor to society and a good person. This community needs this program. This is important. Help us to make our kids become good people. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else live. Anybody on Zoom?
If you are joining us via Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to indicate if you would like to speak. I see no hands on Zoom.
Okay, that concludes public comment. Director's report.
All right, good evening, Parks and Recreation Commissioners. I'll give you an update on what we've been up to since our last meeting last month. While we didn't hire any new staff during this last month, we have had a lot of progress on some recruitment updates, so I wanted to share a couple of updates to you all. First is we promoted Sebastian Napier to a full-time recreation program assistant. So he has now moved from the Demuth Community Center and has moved over to the Special Events Division. So he'll be working in special events now. So don't worry, you'll still see him around. You'll probably see him a lot more now at all of our different events, but we're excited for that recent promotion. Previously, Cruz had held that spot, but transitioned out to another opportunity outside of the city. On the Park Maintenance Division, we are currently scheduling interviews, I believe, for April 4th for our Maintenance Worker 1 positions. We're filling 2 vacancies, so we're looking to fill those 2 positions rather quickly. And on the community center side, we have 2 part-time recreation program assistant positions that are currently in the process of being scheduled interviews. This is one at Demuth Community Center, the other at James O. Jesse. We have a vacancy for a part-time lifeguard at the swim center. We have abolished the list and need to restart recruitment for that position, so that will take some time, but we're in the process of working with Human Resources on that. And then lastly, our final vacancy is a park ranger position. This is also in the Demuth Community Center division. We're just waiting on recruitment. We have to fill all of these other positions first before we can go ahead and move on in filling that role. So I want to just give you a brief update on where we are on the recruitment side for the department. Regarding recruitment, but separately for boards and commissions, you all should have received a reminder from the city clerk's office about the annual boards and commission recruitment period, which is now open. So those of you that are terming out, if you're still interested in pursuing and renewing your term on the Parks and Recreation Commission or another commission or board of your choosing, please make sure you get in touch with the city clerk's office so that they can go ahead and take your application and move forward with kind of the recruitment process for that. All recruitments for all the vacancies are due by April 30th. Some other updates. You should have received an email from me earlier today, but the spring issue of Play, that's Parks, Leisure, and Activities for You, is now available online. So this is our digital recreation brochure. This is only our second issue, and we already have a lot of good feedback and interest. We actually released this at the 1PS picnic on Saturday. So this covers all of our events, programs, activities that we have listed for the department for this spring season. And the idea here is really to make sure that we're connecting our community with all the events, programs, and opportunities that we have to offer. So really exciting for that. And because it's been brought up before, I wanted to just briefly share some of the stats. Oh, it's not, let me share this portion of my screen. For the winter issue, these are the views that we had received for the winter issue. So you can see it roughly received almost 2,500 views. Definitely higher in December and started tapering off in January and then of course in February. But you can see a lot of the resources are coming directly from the website or then some of our social media channels promoting it. And you're seeing it's people accessing it from all over the world, which is kind of interesting. But at least for our first issue and publication to have nearly 2,500 views on this is really great. We would definitely want to get that number a lot higher. So now that you all have the link, we really encourage all of you to share that within your networks. As you're out in the community, please continue to share that also so that we can make sure that everybody knows about this great resource that we have. There we go. Also, moving on to the Swim Center, we recently compiled a report for 2025 that shows the overall usage of the facility at the Swim Center. So you can see here on this table that the Swim Center recorded over 62,000 annual visits with over 28,000 scan cards, which really just shows a lot of consistent engagement at the facility throughout the year. Obviously, in the summer months, we get a lot of increased activity due to it being warmer and people wanting to cool down. We also get a lot of increased traffic from all of our summer camp participants going into the facility. But you can see that in July, we peaked with average daily usage of about 243 participants coming into the facility. That also times rather well as we started building into new hours leading into late summer and early fall. And then we also have a diverse program participation with people coming in for various types of usage over at the Swim Center, with water aerobics being our highest attended class. You'll see over 5,000 participants. And then swim lessons, lap swimming, and special events encompass about over 4,000 attendees in that, which really just shows of how important this community asset is to the overall city and our residents that we serve here. Spring camp is coming up, and so we are offering 2 weeks of camp over at the Leisure Center and James O. Jesse. Students will enjoy 2 weeks packed with games, field trips, and activities. This is available for grades K through 8. At the Leisure Center, spring camp is sold out, so we've reached capacity there, but we do have spots available at James O. Jesse. So if anyone in the community is still interested in camp, you can register at James O. Jesse for that program. A program highlight is our PB Rec program at the Leisure Center. You can see this is our hands-on preschool program where learning meets play daily at the facility. This week's theme is The Very Hungry Caterpillar, which we all know and love that book dearly. And the children in the program were delighted to discover this new caterpillar hanging from the ceiling who has eaten a lot of the different items in the book, sparking curiosity, excitement, and early learning through storytelling and exploration. So our team in PB Rec have done a fantastic job of just decorating the space, applying what they're learning in the book and applying that in real life, and just really creating a lot of engagement opportunities with the kiddos. On February 5th, we had a Black History Month night at the museum where our drill team and drum squad from the James O. Jesse Center were able to perform at the art museum, and so this was a great opportunity for the kids in that program to have some exposure in performing arts and connect with the community over at that event. And of course, on Saturday, February 28th, we had the Black History Parade and Town Fair that was in partnership with the Black History Committee. City leaders, local schools, community groups, and local businesses all participated in the parade, celebrating rich history and culture. And then following the parade, there was the Town Fair in the downtown park that featured booths, information, and activities for guests to enjoy. So we want to just thank all of the participants who put in their time and effort to volunteer to make this a huge success, as we received a lot of really just positive feedback and engagement from people who attended both events. On Thursday, March 5th, as part of Village Fest, we celebrated 34 years of food, fun, shopping, and community in the heart of downtown. The evening featured a high-energy live concert by That's What I Like, which is a Bruno Mars tribute band, along with complimentary cupcakes for attendees to mark the occasion. We had about 1,200 cupcakes that we dispersed out, and that went out in just a matter of minutes, as we get a ton of people that come for Village Fest every week. But this was just a wonderful and a lovely night filled with great music, celebration, and meaningful community connection, which is really the essence of what we do in Parks and Recreation. On Friday, March 6th, we held a Women's History Month Paint by Numbers event, which this was a community event that provided attendees with materials and templates to create a multi-piece project in honor of Women's History Month. You can see here, Commissioner Fine attended that event and put on this wonderful, beautiful art piece that will be hung at the Duluth Community Center for everyone to enjoy. Also on Friday, March 6th, as part of the First Friday series at James O'Jesse, we did March Madness. Now that college basketball season is in full swing and our youth want in, groups of all ages came together to participate in skills challenges, competitive games, and to enjoy refreshments on this full evening of fun. On Saturday, March 7th, we received an invitation from Desert Youth Athletics Pony Youth League, who kicked off its its season with an opening day celebration at Demuth Park. This brought together families and young athletes from across the Coachella Valley who participate in DYA, and this featured local guests, vendors, and a ceremonial first pitch by the Palm Springs Power mascot, which created an energetic and community-focused atmosphere. And so we had a fun time out there engaging with whole bunch of different volunteers, but parents, and of course our Park and Recreation staff that was there, putting on a lot of different crafts and activities for those that participated to enjoy.
And I made a bracelet.
What's that?
I made a bracelet.
And you made a bracelet. Thank you for doing that. On Saturday, March 7th, the skate park held a skate club workshop for beginner skateboarders. So people of all ages and skill levels were able to come by, learn basic skills, along with some new tricks to try out in the skate park. This was a free event that was held on a beautiful Saturday morning, and just another great event that our colleagues at the skate park put on for us. On Friday, March 20th at Sunrise Park, we held our Rec Unplugged event, which this event featured kite making. This was over in Sunrise Park. It was previously scheduled to be at another location, but due to a conflict, we moved it to Sunrise. So we embraced our spring breezes while crafting and assembling our own kites and then putting them to the test. So it was another great opportunity for our staff to create memorable connections with our community members. At the swim center, we just want to highlight that we do offer adult swim lessons that really provide for a strong foundation for enjoying all of our adult aquatic programs, from structured masters workouts to dynamic water polo sessions and low impact water aerobics. There's always something fun for every swimmer. And so our swim center offers ongoing sessions year round. And so you can contact the swim center for upcoming lessons and opportunities that are coming soon. Also at the swim center, to ensure that we are keeping our community as safe as possible, our lifeguard team conducts live emergency drills while the facility is open. This is something new that we started enacting as we gear up for Water Safety Month, but also for a busy summer season. These real-time exercises allow our lifeguards to train in authentic conditions and ensure that they're ready to respond quickly and confidently. And so thank you to our patrons for supporting this cause as we make some of these life emergency drills happen while some of our patrons are visiting the facility. But this is really an opportunity to make sure that our guards are kept up to date on all of their trainings, but then also know how to drill in a real life situation. A couple of weeks ago, as part of a staff development opportunity, Team Palm Springs had a wonderful opportunity to attend the California Parks and Recreation Society conference. This was held in Long Beach. We took 11 staff members to this event where we attended classes, intensive educational sessions, and networked with other agencies to broaden our reach and learn new ways to connect with our community through our programs, amenities, and engaging opportunities. This was really an amazing opportunity to take that big of a team over to this event. It was really good to kind of see what other kind of things that our other agencies are putting on, and also knowing that we are keeping up to date with a lot of trending things out there in the park and recreation field. So we look forward to implementing these new skills in the coming months. Last week, our team attended a ribbon cutting ceremony in coordination with Blue Zones for making Cielo Vista a chartered Blue Zone school. This created an environment that promoted healthier, happier, and longer lives for students, teachers, and parents. The partnership will bring fun ideas to the youth of our community, cooking classes, wellness workshops for teachers, and expanded access to programs that promote nutrition and activities. And we're proud to support this partnership in our community. Program feature, this is Creative Arts and Expression at Demuth Community Center. This program occurs on Wednesdays from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. And this class invites participants to unleash their creativity through art and other imaginative outlets in a welcoming and inspiring environment. The idea is to blend visual art with hands-on crafts and activities and explore different artistic techniques with the provided supplies as part of the program. And all ages are included. All ages are welcomed and included with membership. Another program feature is our Mature Adult program at the James O. Jesse Unity Center. This is from Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This past month, the Mature Adult program took an excursion to the International School of Beauty in Palm Desert for a salon day. And so these mature adults were pampered by way of manicures, haircuts, massages, and waxes for a well-deserved relaxing refresh. They definitely loved this excursion. A couple of park maintenance highlights for all of you to be aware of. So some citywide park improvements. Our maintenance team has been keeping our parks beautiful and functioning properly. A few highlights that included this past month were raised valve boxes within parks to improve safety, painted restroom walls at the Demuth Park restrooms at Fields 7 and 8, and replacing of a bench at Desert Highland Park. And you can see the replacement down in that bottom left picture. Some other improvements included replacing dogway stations at Wellness Park, installing 2 new barbecue stations at Ruth Hardy Park, converting lights in the storage room to LED at Demuth Park, and replacing gate hinges at the City Hall Dog Park. And I'll turn it over to John to give some project updates.
Okay, so the Desert Highland Park playground replacement is coming along. We're still coordinating with all the separate vendors. Playground equipment is shipping out. I just talked to, or was emailing with the vendor earlier. That's going to be shipped out to their yards sometime this week, or maybe early next week. It'll be there, be ready when we're ready to go, which will be nice to do, nice and local, get on site. Shade structure engineering was submitted for our review last week as well, and then we're finalizing an engineering agreement to kind of marry all of those different site plans together to get everything going for the permitting process. And we have a solar option, I believe, nailed down. We developed a custom product that is going to look great here, and then once it's proven there, we'll look at rolling it out everywhere else. It's going to work with everything else we have so far installed. And then we're still anticipating on kicking that off sometime here, hopefully in the next month or two. The swim center design plans are still currently in progress. The exploratory demolition, the findings came back from that. That's in review right now with engineering. And we're working with the architect to finalize the layout. Everything else is pretty much done. We've been selecting a few different fixtures, things like that. Probably in the next week or two, we'll have that finalized, and then it'll go into the actual construction documents like blueprints, things like that. A few quick public art updates. The AIDS Memorial is still in the plan review phase. As soon as they have that, we hope to get them approval so they can get their permits, so they can finish their last leg of their fundraising venture. Gary's going to talk a lot more on the artscape, so I don't want to say too much there. Other than they will be ready on the 15th. beautiful shade, that dragonfly bench is still in the engineering review with the artist. Pending that approval, as soon as we get back what we need there, we should be able to get that expedited through building and safety to get that installed or scheduled and installed. And the Desert Highland Park, James O'Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center, we again coordinated extensively this year with the couple different advisors to the state as well as the state itself to get a letter of intent in for a grant for the Wyatt mural. So that went in on the 13th, and it's probably gonna take 2 or 3 months to hear back from the state, but we would have a pretty good standing this year. And if we get invited to submit, we're already basically in the top few that are left. So more as that comes along.
Do you know when Beautiful Shade will actually get installed?
When we get approval
June,
from,
July, something like that?
it depends on how quickly the artist can get,
It done.
get their engineering. Once they get it done, we can schedule it very quickly.
Okay.
The Demuth Park Improvements Project, so that kicked off early this month.
Really? I didn't notice.
It came quickly, it did. But, we're adaptable, so the soil prep, site clearing, a lot of the grading, those types of things are all underway. The improvements include the new restrooms near the soccer fields and the CV link, renovations to the large and small dog parks, the parking lot replacement in front of the youth league field is kind of be reconfigured a little bit, but it won't look like, we've been testing ordinance out there anymore. That netting along Field 7, like we discussed previously, will finally be in place. Turf conversion and field upgrades around some of the ballparks. And estimated completion there is October 2026, hopefully sooner, but that's what we're going with right now. The Downtown Park Amphitheater, so the project was awarded to a design firm. We had a kickoff meeting last week with a lot of the city heads and Aaron as well. That project will develop 3 design concepts for the Downtown Park Amphitheater with one kind of overall preference of, one preferred design, low, medium, high. We'll see where that ends up, but there's gonna be a lot of coordination, and we'll pass along updates as that progresses.
Or is the community going to get a chance to weigh in on that?
So once we have those the conceptual designs,
Yeah.
yes. So we want to bring forth some concepts to present versus getting bogged down
People
before
say,
we
I
even
want a
get there.
giant band shell and 52 screens and stuff. Okay, I got it.
We want an idea of what we can do there
Yep.
first before bringing it forward for full community input.
Okay.
And it was stressed on that call, I just want to say too, from, the group that was involved, that there was extensive work that went into this. Nothing in this park was kind of pre-canned or just, here's an idea for a park. Everything's custom. The city engineer, planning, everybody else said, there was a lot that went into this. We know, and we're bringing all that into consideration. We're not going to bring just a generic, like, hey, here's this thing we can slap up in there.
Can we repurpose what we have there? Because that's really awesome, and it would be great if we could take the structure and put it somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, that's something where said, either there or somewhere else, we'll do something with it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's too good to go away, for sure. Great. Other quick project updates, the stadium sign is in there, so it was right at dusk there, but got a sign, so it finally looks, you can tell where you're at. Some of the Measure J projects, we're working on finalizing that agreement with the Riverside County Flood Control, been coordinating with Trino and the Palm Springs Yacht Club on getting some mesquite trees installed there. Those will be going in, they should be going in this week. I'm confident they will be going in this week ahead of their event this weekend. And the Ruth Hardy Park, we're exploring some grant funding there, looking for U.S. Tennis Association has a grant available for some design work that we're looking to do to assess, get the ball rolling ahead of that as we start looking at completing the pickleball project. And then the Wellness Park, we're reviewing some options that we received to replace the exercise equipment and servicing there, assessing what all is going to be included in that scope of work, but definitely looking at some new exercise equipment there in the coming months.
John, do you have an estimated completion at all? I know it's a wide open number at this point for the swim center completion.
I would be more comfortable deferring to engineering on that. I know that there's a couple timelines floating around.
Yeah, we don't know a full construction schedule just yet because we are still waiting for all the construction documents to be prepared first. So once that's done and we get all that feedback back from our architect, as John was mentioning, we're doing a lot of coordination right now, then we'll have a better idea. But we don't want to put any dates out there just yet
Sure,
because it's not firmed up.
So those documents you're expecting to be completed by when?
So we have a meeting within the
Beginning of
next.
April.
Yeah, so within the next 2 weeks to kind of review their final. kind
All of what you found out?
Correct, yeah. And then kind of have a game plan from there, figuring out what the next steps are. So within the next couple of months, we'll have a better idea of kind of schedule, but we don't have anything just set in stone just yet.
And to Meredith's point about all of us, the design element, is the community going to get any way in? Are there going to be multiple versions that you're going to?
Oh, the community has already been extensively involved
Okay.
in that project. From my understanding, this has been going on for several years. And so within the past year, I know we did a community engagement meeting. I can't remember it. We've done one since I've been here.
Okay.
And we received about 60 swimmers that showed up for that, where we
Good.
reviewed the design. And so all of that's been completed, and we've taken and factored in as much as we possibly could in the final design. So the design hasn't changed since the last time you all saw it.
It's more configuration, like within the locker room, how everything's positioned, stuff like
The
that.
furniture, the fixtures, all the equipment stuff.
Okay.
Or other projects. This is more of a maintenance update. Our grounds team has been working to trim trees within the park. West Coast Arborists wrapping up the hardwood trees trimming season. 1,820 trees were trimmed in city parks. Next, we're going to work on palm tree trimming in July. And a note from our supervisor in grounds that we will be assisting in the Arbor Day event on April 25th. The downtown splash pad. We are close. We are so close.
Like I see an actual date out there.
So we have one last item that's going in this week, and the county health inspection is going to be, it's tentatively scheduled for the 30th or 31st. If we are approved on that day, without any changes, mind you, then it will be in operation from that moment forward. So, that being said, I always fully expect an inspection to require some sort of item or change, but if not, and stars align, then we should be moving forward with operation from that day. Victoria Park restroom, this is currently in procurement right now, and it will be awarded in late April, early May. It still has to go to council. Construction timeline is still TBD, but likely late summer.
Hey, if the splash pad is operational by May or June, that's amazing.
If, I won't even say it.
I know.
June, July.
But I'm putting it out there that it's for good juju.
The pavilion renovation, so some pictures up here moving along quite nicely, and it's actually much farther along than even these pictures from last week. So the acoustic tiles are going in, the drywall is nearly complete. We're starting paint at the end of this week. We've done a number of electrical items, new fixtures, new light bulbs, same thing in the bathrooms, both men's and women's restrooms, new acoustic tiles, new light fixtures. We addressed some historic electrical, I'll just say funny things.
Challenges.
Challenges, yes. Everything's moving along nicely. In addition to that, it's a separate project, but doesn't feel like it. The doors and windows on the exterior of the pavilion are all getting replaced, and we did start that as well. So that's going to be continuing along while we finish the interior, moving to the floors and walk-off mats and carpet next. A lot of things aligning at once here, but we're moving right along.
Could we maybe do a pre-tour before it opens up? Like,
No, I'm sorry. I can't bring anybody into the construction
No,
site
no.
until we're done with
No,
construction.
pre-tour before it opens up, like after
Oh,
it's done. Like,
yeah,
you-
certainly, you can coordinate that with.
I don't want to go with a
Parks and
hard
Rec.
hat or anything.
Sorry to give you such a quick no.
No,
but,
no, I want to be able to, I thought it would be fun for, to go see it before it's open to the public.
Oh, yeah,
A little
I'm
private viewing or something.
I'm certainly open to that, as long as my construction crews are out of there, then.
No hard
I'm
hats.
Comfortable with
We're
that.
good, yeah.
Art in the Parks, we can skip over that. I'm gonna let Gary give you an update on that one.
And that concludes our report.
That's it.
Unless anyone has any questions.
No, I'm disappointed, what was her name? Baragon? I just noticed she left before I had a chance to ask you about the youth basketball.
You still can?
Well, I will, but
Okay.
I'm gonna wait till Commissioner comments if she's not already.
Let me sneak out of here.
Thanks, Eric.
Oh, bye.
See you.
Oh, boy. Okay, our first action item, dog parks.
All right. So you may have all seen my notice a couple of weeks ago regarding an upcoming closure at the City Hall Dog Park. And so we did do a lot of community engagements with the Dog Park Ad Hoc Committee as well as posting notices and preparing a plan in place for what's to come. And so I wanted to give you all an update and then just to make sure that I have your approval to go ahead and proceed on moving forward, because we're moving forward rather quickly on this process. So just to give you an idea of what's going on is, as part of this presentation, I'll give you an update of Demuth Dog Park, also some of the conditions here at David H. Reddy Dog Park, talk about the upcoming spring 2026 hydro seating schedule, the pop-up dog parks that will be forthcoming, and then also kind of some upcoming dog park opportunities. So first we'll start with Demuth Dog Park. As mentioned a little bit earlier, construction commenced on the dog park on March 2nd. And we've already seen a lot of just increased improvement here. And so we've done grading of the dog park already. Future trenching conduit installation will be installed and worked on in both the small and the large dog park at Demuth. And as John mentioned a little bit earlier, this is all scheduled to be completed before October 2026. So our crews are working really quickly on really all of Demuth Park, but specifically on Dog Park, as we know we got to get that moving. So to remind you all, this is the concept and the rendering for the small dog park. As you can see, there's just a lot of increased improvements there. If you remember previously, most of both the small and the large dog parks at Demuth were pretty much just a dirt lot. And so now we're doing a lot of improvements here. A lot of this is coming from a grant from the Land and Water Conservation Fund that's helping us pay for this project, as well as some additional funding from the Capital Project Fund and some Measure J dollars for all of Demuth Park in general. But you'll see this will be beautiful once it's fully completed. And then here's the large dog park. So kind of same concept with just some increased turf, some shade structures, increased trees and shading, and then overall just DG and just natural turf grass throughout the park. So really it'll just be a wonderful amenity once this is completed later this year.
Are those, I can't read, the letters are too small, but are those octagon-y things shade structures?
Those are shade canopies, yes.
Got it.
Yeah. So now we're at David H. Reddy Dog Park, and if you've seen and experienced this park recently, as you know, over months and months of just constant communication about this park in particular experienced a significant high use from not only the dogs but the owners that frequent this facility, and we know that, right? We understand that because this is really the only dog park. Demuth really was just a dirt lot, and so once that's up and running, we will hope to see a lot of use come from City Hall, transfer over to Demuth, but really a lot of this high traffic limits the turf's ability to recover. One thing that we've also been really looking into as we've been experiencing and really analyzing this over the past year is that there is not a Bermuda grass that is placed and planted here. And so therefore, as we experience every year, the turf dies in the summer. And so, which is why we are really proposing to hydroseed now, because this has not been done previously. From my understanding is this has been proposed in the past, and the dog park community was really against this, but now it seems like we have a lot of effort and support to really move this along, and making sure that we're taking care of this facility, because it does experience a lot of high usage. So what we are proposing is we are proposing a hydroseed. And so as the use has, the heavy use has continued to wear down the turf, the grass needs time and the right conditions to reestablish itself. This time of year, although it has been hot for the past couple of months, but normally springtime really supports healthy root growth before the summer months. And this will support a safer and cleaner and more durable park conditions as the time comes. So this will mean that this will help preserve the dog park for a long-term community use. And it will have a mix of seed so that there will be grass being grown in summer. So we'll have a substantial turf there in the dog park during the summer months. And so hydroseeding this time of year is extremely important as the warm season turf performs best as temperatures begin to rise. This helps support, as I mentioned a little bit ago, is that those root establishment is really important and keen, especially during the spring months, and that this will improve durability of the turf as we head into summer and fall. And so if we do not do this now, this does delay a lot of this work, and we will experience the turf in the summer months to be essentially non-existent or just patches of increased grass throughout the area. And so what I do want to point out is if we move forward and we are doing this, that the spring hydroseeding does not replace the routine overseeding that we do in fall every year. That will continue to happen. But if we do hydroseeding now, we will not need to hydroseed every year. We will look to hydroseed every 2 or 3 years, but we'll look at the conditions every year to determine how we wish to proceed.
Nick, can you explain a little bit about what hydroseeding is?
Sure. Yes. So
See the picture.
I've learned enough about hydroseeding at this point, but.
So hydroseeding is a planting process where a mixture of grass seed, mulch, fertilizer, soil amendments, and water is sprayed over the soil to promote faster and more uniform germination than traditional seeding. Once applied, the mulch layer helps retain moisture and protect the seed while it begins to grow. And under the proper conditions, initial germination typically occurs within 7 to 14 days, with grass beginning to establish in about 4 to 6 weeks, which explains why we will be closing for about 4 to 6 weeks. However, due to the heavy use of the dog park, the area will likely need to remain closed for approximately that 6-week period to allow the turf to develop a strong enough root system to withstand all of the heavy traffic. So we're essentially placing another layer of seed and mixing it in so that we have a more robust turf at the dog park.
Hey, Nick, I think you said earlier that this this process or this service wasn't something that was like endorsed, or maybe the community didn't want. What changed that it's now acceptable?
I think that we, and some of the ad hoc committee members can maybe chime in, but I think what's really engaged or what's helped is that we've done a lot more engagement with the community. There's a lot more, and not to say this wasn't done previously, but I think that this is important to really explain, is that we are a lot more transparent with our dog park users of what we're doing at the dog park location. And we're really considering a lot of their feedback into the conditions. As part of the ad hoc committee, they're essentially our advocates and they're our eyes and ears. And every week I'm getting complaints or things that we need to address or maintain. And I'd like to say we have a pretty quick response time, and we're paying a lot more close attention to the maintenance of the overall facility, which I think is really helping. And so I feel like our community members are appreciative of that, and they're a little bit more trusting with the fact that the recommendations that we're making, they're wanting to take our recommendations from a professional opinion, but also they trust us to be able to make improvements for better park conditions.
Thank you.
And honestly, Rod, we've done everything else. Like, we tried doing overseeding at a different time and keeping it for longer. doing it shorter, doing this, checking out how the irrigation works. We've really done everything to try and address this dog park. And I want to say it was probably 5 years ago when hydro seeding was first brought up. And what people didn't like was it closes the dog park for longer, right?
Yeah.
And so that was really the big thing. They didn't understand that, yes, a little pain right now can help later. And I think what Nick's saying is right. Like, they see that his team has been way more open.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we need to try something different, because right now, after we seed in the fall, the park floods, and we've got that one area that is a constant pain. So, try something else, right? Like, you keep doing the same thing over and over. Isn't that the definition of insanity? So,
One more question. Are there any potential issues that we can run into with the fluctuation in temperature we've been having? Because it's felt more like summer than spring.
Possibly, but it is going to be cooling down a little bit. And so we're going to be paying a lot close attention. I mean, our crews are going to be there every week, making sure and checking in to see how it's germinating and growing. And then we'll need to readjust and just kind of relook at it as time progresses. So yeah, we're going to make sure that we have eyes on the dog park. So what I do want to point out is some of the other kind of maintenance opportunities during the closure that we'll be also getting into. Not only will we look at doing hydro seeding, but there's a lot of repairs that need to be done to the gates and to the fencing itself. And so we must also realize this is a public art piece, so we're limited in what we can do here, but there's a lot of hinge repairs on the gates that we need to fix. And so having it closed during this time will allow us to do the proper maintenance onto the gates in themselves. One thing that we have also noticed is over time, the fence itself has settled. And so what we will be doing is raising the fence back to its proper height to ensure that it is maintained and leveled properly. So that'll be something that we will also fix. There are also other high kind of hard areas and high compact areas in the dog park itself, which we also get a lot of complaints on. So we'll be doing a lot of tilling and loosening up the dirt there and just leveling out a little bit better to make sure that we are keeping all of the dog park areas super safe. And then we'll continue to address and survey other maintenance needs that we will find as part of the closure. We'll look at other kind of like the benches and some of the other seating areas that need to be maintained, replaced, or repainted. And so this will give us the time to allow ourselves to do that.
Were you able to find the artist? Because I know there was some problems trying to find the artist for the fence.
I believe we do have the artist.
we've been reaching out.
And I don't know if this matters, but someone mentioned to me that the seats that we put in the park get very, very hot.
Seeds?
The seats.
Oh, the seats.
The chairs
Oh,
that
the
we
chairs.
picked are like, but not, I don't know, I'm just.
The new chairs?
The new chairs, I guess they get really hot. Is that possible?
I mean, it could be because it is a hot climate, but.
No, but some chairs are less hot than others.
I haven't heard this complaint
I
from
haven't
the
heard
ad
this
hoc,
yet.
but.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet. Okay. All right, so yeah, we've noted that. So one thing to an earlier point of why maybe some of the community is a little bit more trusting about this process is we have a plan in place where we will also be creating 2 pop-up dog park locations during this closure. And so we want to make sure that our community still has access to dog park locations throughout the city, especially now with Demuth also closed. And so we will operate 2 temporary dog parks, one at Sunrise Park and one at Ruth Hardy Park. And these will all be open by the end of this week. And so this will also be open throughout the closure period so that our community members have an opportunity to still take their dogs to a safe space. But this will also give us the opportunity to analyze if these pop-up parks are successful and really look at other locations where we might place other dog parks out throughout the community.
Will they be fenced?
Yes, they are fenced.
They're just like the regular fencing?
They're temporary fencing that we're bringing in for this location, and there'll be 2 dog park areas, one for small dog parks and one for large dog parks.
Do you know where at Ruth Hardy they're doing it?
Okay. You're beating me to it.
Sorry.
So this is the pop-up dog park location at Sunrise Park. And so the location of the dog park itself, as you can see in blue, is essentially south of the pavilion, west of the swim center. And you can access this location off of Ramon Road, or what's otherwise known as the Mizell Center parking lots. And so it's still a very large parking lot. There's access points, walkways that take you directly to the pop-up dog park location. And it'll be located essentially on the west side of the swim center. And so, again, there will be 2 dog parks, one for small and one for large, over in this location. And then at Ruth Hardy Park, the pop-up dog park location will be just south of kind of the basketball court playground area, north of the kind of V-shaped parking lot, and you can access that parking lot off of Tamaris Road and get to that area. And so one thing that I also forgot to mention is we will have seating available. So we have benches from Demuth Park that we will relocate to Sunrise Park, and then the chairs that are currently in the City Hall Dog Park, we're going to move those and place them here at Ruth Hardy Park. And then, of course, they will have dog waste stations and receptacle bins at both locations.
That sounds like a great pivot. I mean, just the opportunity to finally have a solution for all these folks who are so passionate about their pups to be able to have a place to go to. And
yes.
Kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Team.
Thank you. And so I would be remiss to say that we're not done with dog parks. This is something that's really important for our community and for our department. As I mentioned earlier, the fall 2026 overseeding schedule will still occur. And as part of that process, we will be looking at repainting the fencing along City Hall Dog Park. We just don't have the equipment and the labor right now at this time. As I mentioned, we're in the process of hiring 2 additional maintenance workers. But that'll give us time once fall comes around that we'll be working with Public Art to make sure that we match the color and do all that stuff for the maintenance and the repainting of the fencing at City Hall Dog Park. We are also working with Public Works and Sustainability to do some additional tree planting in the City Hall Dog Park. This is to increase the shade canopy there because we know that shade is really important here, but also increases our tree inventory, which would be really wonderful. We're also partnering with Blue Zones to go ahead and install a temporary dog park location somewhere else in the community. So again, as I mentioned, there's 2 opportunities for these pop-up dog parks. This will really give us an idea if these are successful or if we need to pivot and look at another dog park location somewhere else. And then we are also working with another kind of a final approved official dog park placement in the northern part of the city. So we have some items that we're working with another agency to kind of finalize placement of that dog park location. I don't want to reveal too much yet because all of that's not finalized as we're working through MOUs and kind of lease agreements for that. But that could be a new kind of dog park that will come online soon. And then of course we're continuing to work with the dog park ad hoc committee to make sure that we're keeping them up to date with everything that we have going on and including them as part of the process. And so we know dog parks are really important to our community members here, and I want everybody to know and understand that we know that, we value that, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of our green spaces and of course our dog parks. And so at this time, it is recommended that we do move forward and proceed with this hydro seeding. We want to test it out. We want to see if it's going to work. We feel confident that it will, and it really will benefit our community and our dog park users. Happy to answer any other questions.
Did you ever hear from Fahad?
I did not.
Okay.
But I did hear
He's
from
one of the
Derek.
members of the ad hoc committee who's pretty vocal. And so at our last ad hoc meeting, he was the only one missing?
Derek and I did connect.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And he understands what we're doing.
Because these guys, like each one is specific to City Hall large, City Hall small, Demuth. Like we have a different person kind of.
Like districts.
Who's an expert at
Like
each
districts.
one.
Like representatives, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible if these pop-ups are amazing that they could stay?
Potentially, the only reason why I'm saying potentially right now is because the fencing that we're installing is temporary, and it would be something fully developed and designed and approved by the Parks and Recreation Commission, by you all. And so that's why I mentioned that the future opportunity really is that it'll give us an idea if they are successful, that we come back and put plans in place for an official capital project for that to happen in the future.
Got it, okay,
Nick,
thank you.
what determines if it's successful?
Usage and good community feedback. Yeah. Okay. And then that'll give us an idea on how we appropriate and look for funding for future projects. Any other questions?
I'm sorry,
Oh.
is the thought that the pop-ups would then take traffic away from City Hall and Demuth, and therefore maybe either more space, less wear and tear on the new ones is, okay.
Yep, yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, we hope that as a lot of these additional dog parks come online, that essentially the use of the dog park essentially spreads all throughout the community, right? And so we're not seeing such high impact of the turf here, and that'll be kind of spread throughout the different dog parks.
Got it, thank you.
Nick, when you're saying usage and feedback, usage obviously, it's easy to be able to calculate that. How do you go about, other than the unsolicited feedback or the feedback that you get from outside, is there a process that you have that you follow for getting feedback from the dog parks?
Yeah, thank you. So that's where the ad hoc committee members really come into play. As Chair Morelia mentioned earlier, is we essentially have representatives from each of the dog park locations. And what they are really charged with is engaging with their kind of community. And so they are the
Hanging
ones.
out at the dog park.
Yeah, and they are talking to them, and they actually share out information that we release to them. They communicate with the other dog park users, and then they share that back with us. And we've proven, well, I think it's proven to be really successful over the past year since we've established that. And it actually has been 1 year since that's been in place. We did that dog park community meeting in March of last year.
And these guys are vocal, so.
Yeah, they're gonna tell us whether
We all
to
went
get
out and
feedback.
looked at the sites, et cetera, yeah.
And, you know, we understand, this is a change, right? We understand that not everybody is going to be appreciative of this or understanding, but we need to try this out. And so staff's recommendation is that we move forward with this hydro seeding, try it out, make sure that it works, and if not, we pivot and we look at other opportunities. But we want to make sure that we're taking good care and use of our spaces, and so that's what our recommendation is.
And the pivot spots, you're going to have ample parking, both of them, so it's not a
Correct.
matter of, well, gee, I'm so used to coming to City Hall, there's ample parking there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct, yeah, and
There's
that's.
so many dogs in those parks anyway. I mean, they're always trying to take them off the leash at Ruth Hardy, always. There's like, it's a dog park without fences, so this is gonna be great.
Yes, and we have taken that into account, is understanding where we are seeing a lot of off-leash dogs, which is not allowed in the dog, in any of our parks, except for the dog park. And so we did take that into consideration. We wanted to make sure that there was ample parking, and then some shade. So Ruth Hardy Park in that area has a lot more shade trees. Sunrise Park has a shade tree in each of the small and the large dog park. But that'll allow us, at least in the interim, to get by while we do this hydro seeding.
The location at Ruth Hardy, usually there's lots of different, like PS1, when they have a large group of people or things going
For
on.
events, you mean?
Is there anything coming up within the next period of time that it might be used that's going to conflict with that?
Good question. Short answer is no. We've already looked at kind of the event schedule to making sure that we're not conflicting with anything. And so during this time period, we will be good.
Okay.
Which is probably why that can't become a permanent place, because that's the location that they use a lot for the events.
Well, there's specifically in Ruth Hardy, south of where the dog park is, that's more of the open kind of green space area where we do a lot more of those community type of events. And so we still have event lawn space that we can still permit for other things, even if that were to come a permanent space in the future.
All right, so I guess I'll make a motion to move forward
I'll
with
second
the
it.
spring 2026 hydro seeding.
Alex second.
I would like to do a roll call vote. Chair Morelia,
Approve.
Vice Chair Nagaya,
Approved.
Commissioner Admeyer,
Approved.
Commissioner Davis,
Approved.
Commissioner Finland,
Approved?
Commissioner Roddy,
Approved.
Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Phillips. Approved. Motion approved.
Thank you very much.
Our people thrilled. Do you need to tell them that we're removing the action item about the MOU for the Parks Foundation?
Yes. So this isn't to cause any concerns, but we did have on the agenda an MOU with the Palm Springs Parks Foundation to come forward for your approval. Staff need a little bit more time as we're working that through with the foundation. As you can recall from at our last commission meeting, the foundation did come by and present to you their 3 pillars and kind of what's to come down the line. We have a great partnership and relationship with them already. They were even at our booth at the 1PS picnic, and so we've sent over kind of a draft MOU. We've sent over a wish list of items and things that we need help fundraising for future projects, events, and other programming initiatives. And so we just need a little bit more time. And so I'd ask the commission to table this to a future meeting when staff is ready to bring forward a final MOU. I think you need to vote.
Do we need to vote on this?
The motion, yeah.
I'll make a motion to suspend it till next month.
Okay, we're gonna vote on that. Chair Moralia,
Approved.
Vice Chair Nagaya, Commissioner Admire,
Approved.
Commissioner Davis,
Approved.
Commissioner Finland,
Approved?
Commissioner Roddy, Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Phillips. The item is tabled until next meeting.
Okay, last action item about the, this is the fitness campaign?
Correct. Wanted to bring forward an opportunity with the National Fitness Campaign that has come before us. And so I'll briefly just go through this slide deck, but as part of the agenda packet, you were all sent a link to watch a 3-minute video about this campaign. And so I just want to give you an update of where we are and how we would like to proceed. So we are currently working with the National Fitness Campaign, who has partnered with us to make an investment into the community to install a fitness court at one of our park locations. And really the connection here is that they're looking at creating a public-private partnership where really their mission is to help build healthy communities all across the nation. And so what they really are focused on is that they understand that America is facing a health crisis that's caused by sedentary lifestyles, and that cities are designed for cars, and they want to create more walkability and more connection to fitness and making fitness as part of everyday life. And so that's where they step in. They partner with a lot of different healthcare providers all across the nation for bringing this type of work to communities all across, of course, the country. And so really what they do is they focus on kind of different areas and helping to build healthy communities, working with us to plan, create different type of layouts on installing a fitness court, looking at projections, doing this kind of health site score, which I'll get into in a little bit, and really just creating connectivity across our park system and connecting it with this fitness court. And so what they do is that they are a full service where they help and assist with design and planning of this fitness court. They help us create and solicit sponsors to help raise money for this, provide some grant funding, which I'll get into in a little bit, and then work with us to make sure that it's installed correctly as part of one of their preferred installers. And then also work with creating an ambassador training and helping to create ambassadors in our community who are focused on fitness and helping to utilize this court. And then it also comes with a mobile application and then an opportunity for some community art piece that can be displayed on the court itself. And so really what their focus here is to create a whole center of wellness programming. And so that could be through different cardio programming, yoga, Zumba, dance, other kind of stretching and kickboxing and Tai Chi things as part of this wellness hub. But again, really just focusing on creating an overall healthy community. The court itself, which is pictured here, has several different 7 different full body workout stations that focus on core, squatting, pushing, lunging, pulls, agility, and bending as a kind of a full circuit workout space. And again, it's tailored to a mobile application that people can utilize and kind of follow these predetermined workouts as part of this process. Also, there is an opportunity to work with local artists and have the backside of the art kind of display this community art piece. And so depending on how we proceed, that may be an opportunity in working with public art or working with other kind of local artists to kind of create and design something that would be put on here. And it's just essentially an adhesive or a vinyl that is placed and wrapped on the fitness court itself. Also, one thing, as we know, and we've talked about for a while, is shade is extremely important. And so one thing that they've unveiled within this past year is a shade feature or a shade canopy that goes over this fitness court. And so if we decide to proceed and work through and look at this, this is, of course, something that we would want to make sure that we include as part of the project. And so there's several different kind of initiatives that we will need to work towards as we kind of create and move forward if we want to proceed. But one is we need leadership support, and that's where really the approval from the Parks and Recreation comes in, is that really first finding out, is this something that we want to pursue and look at, and then we kind of follow with all the other additional steps. We are kind of working on site impact right now, and I'll briefly touch on that in just a moment. But then once we get approval from you all, if this is something we want to proceed, then we enter into a non-binding agreement, which really allows us to go ahead and look for sponsors and donors to help pay for this, because currently this is not something that has funding or approval on, but this was give us the ability to go ahead and search for funding to build this. And then, of course, apply for the grant that'll give us essentially some grant funds towards this project. So again, we need that leadership support first to go ahead and move forward and see if this is something that we would be interested in, and then you all receive that 3-minute video to look at. We are also, and I'll show you this in a moment, but we've identified kind of 3 different sites in our park system that have impact and would be good kind of selection for this fitness court if this is something that we wish to move forward with. Again, we look at funding match, and then NFC, the National Fitness Campaign, provides up to $50,000 in grant funds towards this project. And then, of course, we work towards and apply for the grants and give us the opportunity. And if successful, we enter into a non-binding agreement. We don't have to build it, but we just have to look at seeing if we raise enough dollars to actually procure the item and build it. So now we'll get into kind of the site analysis and what we've kind of looked at as far as the site impact for some locations throughout the community. I'll just skip through this here, talked a little bit about that. What NFC does is they look at and give us a site score, which is really, they call it a healthy site score, which is looking at park typology, the different types of park amenities, how people access and connect to the park, and then what other kind of things are activated in the park and how people move throughout the park to overall give a site score. And so they've done a lot of mapping already and looking at our community. And so pictured here, this is all of our high activity level that they see of people activating and working and moving throughout our community. You can see a lot of that is, of course, our trails, but then all the different connectivities through biking and walking trails all throughout the park system, which is laid out here in the city. They've also looked at population density, equity maps, walkability, pedestrian activity, bike paths, and then just open space in general all throughout the community to kind of just inventory out. And we've identified 3 locations that this could potentially look at for a top site for installation of this fitness court. And that is Desert Highland Park, Victoria Park, and down at Duluth Park. And so, as I talked about previously, each park has given us a healthy site score. So Victoria Park is given a 72% score, has good connectivity to surrounding community. There's various different on-site amenities at this park location. Demuth Park has an 80% healthy site score, and just looking at how active this park is as kind of being our main sports park throughout the city. There's a lot of different clustering of other types of amenities here because we have baseball and soccer and a lot of different walking tracks now with the CV link connecting to there, and overall has great site visibility as we have a high visibility with Mesquite Avenue running through the park. And then Desert Highland Park has a 74% healthy site score, and that's really because of the close proximity to the community center, although Demuth has that as well. There's a strong community presence with a lot of people utilizing the park itself, and then again, a good site visibility coming off of Tramview Road. And so the court itself costs are roughly around $200,000, although we would anticipate increasing that a little bit more and looking for funding just due to kind of permitting and just high increased costs with construction costs continually to rise. And then if we look at the court with a studio pad, and that's that just extra kind of blank space that's kind of like a workout pad for yoga, Zumba, those types of activities, you would increase the cost to about $262,000. And of course, that would be with a grant funding award, a minimum of $30,000 that we would get from the National Fitness Campaign. And so what we're looking for the commission is to give us as staff approval if this is something that we wish to pursue. This again wouldn't allow us to set into stone that this would be coming, but would give us the opportunity to do a lot more site research, work with the National Fitness Campaign to determine if this is something that could be viable in the community, help us apply for grant funding, and then look at potential sponsors to help fund the project so we can move this forward and install one of these in one of our parks.
Nick, do you have a sense of other warm weather cities like ours that have this? I saw Las Vegas in one of the slides, but is there any anecdotal or sort of best practice data out there with other cities like ours in terms of this being outside?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of warmer climate communities that have outdoor fitness equipment installed in their areas, and the National Fitness Campaign does install these in high warm climates. And so this is something, and I believe that's also why they've increased shade as part of an amenity on the fitness court itself. And so this is something that's really all throughout the nation.
What about, to David's point earlier, around the cost of, like at the community centers, is there a cost associated with people utilizing this?
No, that's a good question. And so because this would be an outdoor amenity, this is essentially free to the community. We wouldn't anticipate fencing this. And so this would be something that if installed, we would allow this to be a free amenity for open use. But it would also allow us to attract other kind of fitness, healthy instructors to come out and do some classes out there where there may potentially be a free, but that's not something that we would want to really impose on the community on.
Like the app is not, it's not like it costs anything to download the app.
The app is free to use, correct.
What's the difference between this and what we're doing at Ruth Hardy with it feels to me like I'm watching it and it feels like a lot of work to make this happen, where we can put those same thing we're doing at Ruth Hardy in the other parks. And then you have to have ambassadors that come and help everyone and run it. It could be a lot of work for what we could do as a community just by putting our own pads in, our own shade in, and still have places where people can do classes.
Sure. The difference between the two types of structures is Ruth Hardy is essentially a workout pad with a shade canopy. This has, if we decide to go with the fitness court and the studio, this has a workout pad and fitness equipment installed into it with a shade canopy. So that is not something that we have at Ruth Hardy Park. We don't have the fitness equipment component. But you will see at other park locations like Wellness Park and Desert Highland Park, we have fitness stations along a walking trail or something like that. And so this kind of combines it all in one location, rather kind of separating it out amongst a series of a walkway or a path.
And they came and did a presentation for you.
Yes, this is something that we've done. We've been working on this for several months now. And so
Can I ask you, like, were you excited about, like, is this something that the department is excited about?
I think, yes, I think
Okay.
this is something that we are definitely excited about, as this would bring a new amenity to our community and something that we don't have here. I've built one of these before, and so in my previous agency, we built this, and it proved to be really successful and received a lot of engagement from the community. And I think we would do the same thing here, especially knowing that we have already a really active community, and that's really thriving for a lot of these kind of fitness amenities.
Can you remind me how big the pad is again? It's on one of the slides. It just went by too fast for me to see it.
There's concrete slab.
38 by 73? That sounds about right. Yeah.
Concrete slab says 38 by 38.
On this side, or so the larger side with the studio, with the workout pad would be a 38 by 73.
Okay.
So will we be involved further down the road should this progress as far as location and different things such as that? Or what is this it for our participation in it?
No, absolutely. So just like other projects, we would involve the commission if we decide to proceed with your involvement in every step of the way, including final site location, making sure we include and approve the colors and the funding sources and all of that stuff. We would definitely welcome and want the commission's final approval on anything. Right now, again, we're just requesting your approval on if this is something that we wish to pursue. And if so, then we will do a lot of staff work in making this work and seeing if it is viable, but then you're involved in every step of the way.
Okay.
I am happy with the site locations, 3 suggested sites. I feel like those parks often get overlooked, so I think either one of them would be great. I think it's a great idea.
I just have one last question. What's kind of in it for them? Because we're not committing to them. We just go through the process, but they've got to put so much time and effort in trying to help us with grants and everything. Like, don't they ever get worried that we're going to be like, it's just too much, like we're not signing anything? That's just their business plan? Is that how?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that's the case with many different agreements and vendors, right? And so we see that a lot in a lot of park development opportunities and working with other vendors, is that they will do initial concepts on design and mapping and conceptual plans, and that's with the risk of determining whether or not the agency decides to move forward. And so that's kind of the cost of doing business there, and so that's pretty common.
Okay, I get that. Thanks.
I think my only other comment is in trying to understand the potential effectiveness is sort of data around other cities that have done it, like one you indicated, and sort of almost a little matrix of how big are those populations, any sense of how much they're getting used in terms of people per day or per month, whatever that is, and almost a comparison as to how that might apply here. If these are in cities that have 5 times our population, and just, again, the seasonality and weather, and again, not to suggest that I'm against it, it's more about just trying to help, because I could see a lot of dialogue about this, given the dialogue we have on other topics, but it just seems like having some other data and critical thinking and analysis around this to be able to share would help support why this makes sense, or maybe help the department go, oh, you know what? Maybe this isn't the appropriate fit after all.
Sure.
Just an observation, and I'm just curious, is there a relationship between the National Fitness Campaign and the fitness court product?
They're one and the same.
Okay.
Yeah. The National Fitness Campaign, I believe, is the company that owns and manufactures the fitness
I
court.
was going to Meredith's question, I think. That's why.
Talk to you that a little bit. Do we have any data on the classes and the spaces that we already use? Like, do we need another one? Are Jace's classes full? Are the yoga classes? Like, what kind of data do we have on that kind of usage of the spaces we already have?
So data is limited all throughout the park system.
Okay.
But what we do see and hear a lot from just engagement with the community is more active spaces. And so we don't have enough active spaces. I mean, you see in Wellness Park, our infrastructure for the fitness equipment there is over 20 years old and needs to be replaced. We just installed fitness equipment at Desert Highland Park, but it's really difficult to get to because there's around the walking trail. At Sunrise Park, we only have one piece of fitness equipment, and so that's not something that is really usable there. And so a lot of our infrastructure doesn't really allow itself to be used, or the classes that we do have are at capacity or nearing capacity.
Also, if you build it, they will come. I mean, that's just, you build amazing things in parks, people come and use them, I would think. I was just trying to figure out what the downside is. I don't really know that there's a downside, except for it'll be hard to get funding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct. It could be really challenging to get funding. This could be something that we build soon, or it could be something that we build years and years out from now, right? And so that's really going to be dependent on how aggressive we are with seeking sponsorship and funding dollars. And ultimately, I mean, it's your decision if that's something we should proceed or not. And so, you know, it'll be dependent on how fast and quickly we want to move forward on this, or if it's something that, you know, is something within the best interest of the commission or the community.
I think it's worth exploring, at the least. I think it's worth exploring. I mean, are they thinking they're gonna like maybe tap into Measure J money, or they have their own ideas about things?
We haven't really explored any of that yet. Yeah. I did not want to do that much legwork on that until figuring out how the commission wishes to proceed.
But how does this company decide who to go after, like who to approach?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because they do their homework and they go, oh, this city has this funding and this funding we can tap into? I mean, that's just good business, obviously, but I'm just wondering, like, how were we approached, or because you did it before with another place that was successful?
No, we were approached, and actually they had revisited a plan that the department did in 2020 for the same campaign. So this was something that had already been talked about previously. Now, I'm not too sure if this came to the commission at any point in that time back then, but this was something that the department was already looking into, and so I think they just revived kind of that previous network and re-bringing it back up. The location was Demuth Park, and so, but Demuth Park already has a lot of activity already, and so I don't know if that would be the best site, especially with just so much construction happening now.
Yeah, with pickleball and everything.
Yeah. So, but
It might be
yeah,
someplace
this was done
that's
previously.
bare too. Maybe a place that's not as
Like Desert
active,
Highland.
or Victoria, or you know, even
The ones they picked is they're good spots.
What action are you looking for, Nick?
Approval or not approval to proceed, the next steps in working with them to seek funding and moving forward with the project if we decide to get funding.
How do you feel your department can support yet another project? I mean, you've got a lot going on right now.
Yes.
Like, this is a whole nother.
But if you're excited about it, we want to be excited with you. I think
Well,
that's what I was trying to get at.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, and thank you for that. I think, yes, we do have a lot of projects going on, and we'll have to fit this into project management schedule, right? I mean, this isn't going to rise to the top of, you know, Demuth Park or the swim center or anything else, right? This will have to fit in and go into the whole pipeline of different projects. I think that this would be something that would benefit the community. And so knowing that we already have an active and healthy community, it is something that it is worth exploring, and we can do a lot more data and research and get you the info that you need. But I think it would be nice.
And we're not in a hurry. We can do it
We're
as we
not
do
in
it.
a hurry, correct. Yeah, we're not in a hurry at all.
If we're not in a hurry, would it be a bad idea to get the data, get the info, get some of the other stats that we sort of talked about, and then allow us as a group to be a little more educated and informed and really understanding maybe the need that this addresses, and then
Would it be helpful
Take
for them to
action.
come in and do a presentation like live? And talk to us maybe?
Sure.
Well, I mean, I don't know, I'm just
I
saying.
try to limit vendors coming in because,
Because
you know.
I guess for me, I'm feeling like it's a vendor, and I'm having this like, in my head, I'm like, what do they want from us? What are we gonna get from them? And I know it's gonna serve the community, but like, are there other places like this that we can check out as well? Maybe, I don't know, like,
There's one in Paris, I believe.
Paris, I think, is the closest one.
Yeah.
but I'm talking about not this company, but
Understood.
other companies that do the same thing.
Uh,
That we can look and see what they've done, and I don't know, I don't wanna make more work for everyone.
Yeah, I think, I mean, yes, there are other fitness companies out there, but I haven't seen a product that's
Like this.
like this,
But I like
all
the art
encompassing
included.
in one,
Yeah, the art's
in one
nice with it.
installation, right,
Yeah.
right.
And the grant aspect.
And the grant asks, yeah. And, but what about like involving,
This is what we're voting on, is if he should do the
just.
legwork to get us the information to move forward.
Correct.
Because you can't get the information without,
So we need to say, do we want more information on this or not? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, we were talking in circles there for a minute.
Thank you.
I move to vote, move forward with this to get more information.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do a roll call vote on that. Okay, Chair Moralia,
Approved.
Vice Chair Nagaya,
Approved.
Commissioner Admer,
Approved.
Commissioner Davis,
Approved.
Commissioner Finland,
Approved.
Commissioner Roddy, Commissioner Fine,
Approved.
Commissioner Phillips.
No.
Okay. Approved unanimously.
No, one no.
Yes, sorry. One no. Sorry.
Got it?
That's it for action items, no?
Oh,
Yes.
I'm doing public comment next.
Beginning and
That was like an hour ago.
I can keep yours and it was 2.5
Y'all asked too many
hours.
questions. Okay. I guarantee it'll be under 3 minutes. Okay, Artscape in the Park, March 2026. If you recall, this started nearly 3 years ago at a council meeting. And the first request came from Councilmember Bernstein, who said, there's no art in Victoria Park. And I said, well, there's a bench. And he said, no, I want art. So we did art. So we went through the whole process. As you can see, this has been the bane of my existence. It's been so slow moving. I've dealt with every department in the city to get this done, and it's getting done. So, next slide, please. Who's doing it? Okay, there are 4 parks: Desert Highland, Victoria Park, Gateway Park, and Baristo Park. These are the pieces of artwork, and they are big. Let me tell you, the one in Baristo Park, 20 feet long by 9 feet tall.
That is creepy.
The dog in Victoria Park is 18 feet tall. Okay, Desert Highland, I believe they're like 14 to 16 different sizes. And then the one in Gateway is about 14 to 16 as well. Interestingly, Desert Highland is about cactuses blooming in the harsh terrain of the desert, but it's really about different people and different body types and how different body types can grow and bloom in harsh climate. Victoria Park, obviously, it's a dog, and I think that's just going to be a thing that's going to look amazing. Gateway Park, we went with something a little more stylish, a little more design, because where it is with El Rancho Vista Estates, much more design there. And Baristo Park, if you recall, that was where they came to us to talk to us about their Measure J application, and the park is bifurcated. It has the wash down the middle of it, and there's that one little triangle that no one even knows is Baristo Park. And then on the other side, it's all playground equipment. So we thought this mammoth piece in bright primary colors would be almost like a wayfinder. And it would draw people's attention to this park area. And you will see it. You will not get away from this thing. If you can go ahead. And then you can, again, you can see there, thank you, Nick, for the map. there's no city map. Okay, and you can see where the placement is. And then I do want to call out in Sunrise Park, that's where the beautiful shade is going. And my understanding is the artist is bringing it here in June.
Oh, okay.
And then you can see the pads are in place around Desert Highland. One of the key things we did when we were doing the location and the siting, and actually it was exactly 1 year ago today, when this gentleman and I were walking the parks and saying this, and I said, this is where it's going to be. So we've known the sites for over a year. One of the things we're going to do is site everything so when you photograph it, it would have a beautiful Palm Springs location behind it. We wanted mountains or palm trees or something like that. We have some great public art in terrible locations, and that's what we're working. Okay, so this is going to look amazing. This is where Desert Highland. This is where the horse. I keep calling it the Trojan horse.
It looks like it.
So, yeah, people from Cathedral City are going to come sneaking in. So again, this is going to have the trees and the mountain behind it, and it's going to look great. You're going to see it from Racket Club Road when you're driving by, and it has enough respectful space for the playground equipment in Victoria Park. And the next one is Gateway Park, and this one you can see the monument sign there. So you're going to see it if you're stopped in traffic at the Vistacino light. You're going to see it when you make the turn. And again, the shapes, and to me this is very much a futurism style design, and it's metallic, and then but it's going to be a darker purple, pink, fuchsia color, and when at nighttime you're driving, it'll just beautiful reflections going up with the headlights. And then Spagoti, as I said, that's going to look amazing, just with the mountain and the trees behind it. John and I sort of realized that if somebody put trees there, they're going to have to be moved or trimmed because they're just a little tight. Just especially that one there. And then the next slide is, there were some unexpected costs with a crane and forklift and trailer and installation management. All those things are happening now, but installation is for Spagoti. It is going in first, and that is on April 9th and 10th. That's Thursday and Friday. And then the shapes and sizes in Desert Highland are going in on April 12th on a Sunday. And then the Dancer 6 and Rover are going in on the 13th and 14th. And but none of this would happen without the able assistance of Aaron from Public Works and Mr. Brickley sitting next to me here. We do not, the Art Commission does not have a department. We do not have staff. So I'm out harassing everybody, and I'm relying on the kindness of strangers and gentlemen callers like Mr. Brickley. Okay. And the next one is the Public Art Commission formally invites you all to the Artscape dedication ceremony, which will be held at City Hall on World Art Day. World Art Day, we've done substantial pieces of world art for the past 4 years. It is April 15th because of that is Da Vinci's birthday. And this will be held at 10 a.m. at City Hall, and it will be hosted by Mayor Soto. And all of the artists will be in attendance. Yes. And also, and this is late breaking news, there will be artists, what are we calling them? Artist events at each of no, whatever. It's basically like a nice little, I'd say a cocktail party, but there's no drinks. Except John's going to do tequila shots.
Oh my God, 10 a.m.
No. This is going to be artist reception. They're doing artist reception.
Okay.
In Baristo Park, they're doing an artist reception on the night before, late afternoon before. I'll send this out when it's all finalized. Councilmember DeHart will be attending that one. And then there will be one in Victoria Park at 8 a.m. on the 15th. And that one, the fire department's already involved, and Councilmember Bernstein's involved, and Vista Del Monte School's already involved. And then there will be one for Dancer 6 as well, I believe the night before, so that'll be the 14th. But again, this is all just happening very, very quickly. But this is very, very exciting, and this is probably the biggest cross-city thing we've ever done in 4 parks on this sort of situation. So again, thank you everybody for their support. This is a wonderful thing. And the best thing about these is these are big and beautiful artwork that are changing the complexion of the city. And as I said, everyone has a different feel.
For World Art Day on the 11th in the park downtown, is there a way to let the community know where these are going? Like pictures of them somewhere? Is that possible?
We won't have pictures of them actual. I only have what you guys saw there, which is artist renderings. Those aren't final. We won't have the final because like Spaghetti we've had it for 9 months now. And that one is in 5 pieces? Yeah. So, yeah, they're so big, like the horse is 4 pieces because it weighs 5 tons. There's horse, the dog, sorry. The lightest one are the 3 cactus going at Desert Highland. That one will be interesting because it's lightweight, but they're perforated in this beautiful little design. And they think it might whistle in the wind.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that might be something kind of cool. Okay. Any questions on this? You're all going to be there, right? If you live in,
It's tax day, it's
Highland
modernist
or whatever.
board meeting, I mean, I have 8 million things on April 15th.
Well, I think it's important for, I believe, and Nick and John have heard me speak, but when I make my comments, these are not public art pieces. These are city pieces. And that's been my fight with the other departments. Like, this is city property. This is not an outside group bringing artwork in. And this comes together through the Parks Department, through the Parks Commission, through the Art Commission, through Public Works, through all these different areas working together. I mean, we work with building and planning and Measure J. Measure J even helped us out. So, any other questions on this? No?
Thank you, Gary.
Well, I ramble. I could have been done in 3 minutes. So anyway,
Thanks,
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
That's City Hall, right?
Yes.
But they're all different days, right?
But
But the main-
one big ceremony is on one day.
The installs are not doing a separate events, it's just the installs and the one.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I will briefly skim through this. So some upcoming save the dates for special events. Most of these flyers are included in your agenda packets. On Thursday, April 2nd, we will do an Easter celebration as part of Village Fest. So the Easter Bunny will be there, and so if you're interested in that, there will be tons of family funs and arts and crafts opportunities, and of course a photo with the Easter Bunny. On Saturday, April 4th, we have our Excellence Duck Dive at the Swim Center. So a splash-filled favorite. Hundreds of rubber ducks are tossed into the pool and children race to collect them for fun prizes. So that'll be a really fun event on April 4th. On the day before, on April 3rd, we have our Easter egg hunt at Jamesville Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center. So the Easter Bunny will be paying a visit to the facility. So we invite everybody to enjoy games, ice cream, and good music while the community kids hunt for eggs.
Why is it not on Easter?
What's that?
Why is it not on Easter?
We typically don't do a lot of events on Sundays.
Oh, that
And
makes
so,
sense.
yeah, so we usually do it on Fridays or Saturdays so that other community members usually spend Sundays for families. Yeah. On Thursday, April 9th, as part of Village Fest, we are celebrating festival season. So we're kicking that off with a Coachella-inspired vibe. So the Parks and Rec team will be out there doing a special activation featuring interactive activities, arts, and a vibrant photo opportunity. So everyone's invited to participate in that. On Saturday, April 11th, we are celebrating World Art Day Festival in the downtown park. And so you are invited to come and celebrate creativity and culture as this event brings the community together to explore and appreciate art in all its forms.
And they do need volunteers. They're kind of desperate for volunteers.
So if you are interested in volunteering, please let us know. On Friday, April 17th, our next Rec Unplugged event will happen at Ruth Hardy Park, where we're bringing recreation directly to local parks with glowing games, interactive activities, and higher energy fun for all ages. So that will be at Ruth Hardy on Friday, April 17th. On Wednesday, April 22nd, we have a paint a flower pot with a park ranger. And so help us celebrate Earth Day as we paint and decorate flower pots. This event is free, family friendly, and all supplies will be provided. On April 25th, we are celebrating Earth Day and Arbor Day at Ruth Hardy Park. This is in partnership with the Sustainability Department. So we are planting actually 24 trees in Ruth Hardy Park. So that's different than the other slide that said 8. And so this will be really great. And so we need a ton of volunteers that'll help us with the tree planting. The whole event will happen from 8 to 2, but the tree planting will occur at 9 a.m. And so you will, of course, plant trees, enjoy yard games, groove to some really fun music, and free food for those who participate.
That's the event that changes by park each year, right? Like,
Correct.
didn't we do Victoria Park?
We did Victoria Park last year, and we
or-
planted about 10 trees. Yeah, so we're increasing the amount of trees and moving it to Ruth Hardy. And then on Thursday, April 30th, as part of Village Fest, we're doing a May the 4th Be With You night, where we will bring the galaxy to downtown Village Fest with Star Wars themed fun for all ages. And then just looking ahead, May 1st, we have the Cinco de Mayo party at the James Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center. So you can celebrate Cinco de Mayo with this free family-friendly fiesta, where you'll enjoy a lively Friday evening filled with delicious tacos, refreshing agua frescas, and vibrant performances by traditional ballet folklorico dancers. On May 9th, we have our Mother's Day celebration at the Demuth Community Center, where we're asking everybody to come and join us for a hands-on arts and crafts event where families can create heartfelt gifts and keepsakes just in time for Mother's Day. And then looking ahead at the end of May, we have our annual awards banquet at the James Jesse Desert Highland Unity Center. This is a special evening dedicated to celebrating the members, volunteers, and friends who make our community thrive. And there's also a flyer in your packets for some upcoming events at the skate park. Of course, our skate park is open 7 days a week and packed with exciting opportunities for all skill levels. And so there's lessons, action-packed camps, community events, and other contests that are coming up soon. So you can check out that flyer for all those dates. And then we have finalized our 50 years of Sunrise events. As you all know, you've heard me talk about this multiple times now. Sunrise Park is turning 50. And so we're celebrating with a year long of community events, family activities, and special anniversary celebration in December. So I previously noted that that was in November. Due to some events and conflicts with the overseating schedule, that final culminating event will occur on December 12th, which is called Shine On 50 Years of Sunrise. And we will share all of these dates with you so you have them to attend for future events. And that concludes my updates, unless anyone has any questions. All right.
Oh, boy. All right, we'll start with the dog park ad hoc. I don't think we need an update because we kind of heard a lot about dog park already this evening. Moving on to pickleball.
Okay, pickleball. We had a meeting on March 19th for the ad hoc committee, and the court expansion and renovation project is moving along on schedule. And we're just anticipating that by early June, we'll be able to reopen the facility over at Demuth. We also had a discussion with regards to the ambassador program, and we have experienced people who are participants in that. We want to get more people to get involved with that, especially in the midst of Demuth Pickleball reopening. We want to give a big promotion as far as this transpiring, this taking place. So we want to bring more people into the fray and get them involved as ambassadors in that process. Also, we want to expand the instructor program. We currently have very capable instructor who works over there at Demuth, working for the city as far as providing instruction to people. We'd like to bring more people into this program for education and training purposes with an eye toward the future on that endeavor. And our next ad hoc committee meeting is going to be on April 23rd. And that's it.
Awesome. Swim center.
John pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I agree. Golf.
Our ad hoc meeting was postponed again, so no updates.
Oh, but everybody's okay, right? I've met so many golfers like in the last 2 months in my hot tub at my community. It's insane. Because I live right on the golf course.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, blah, they start talking golf, and I'm like, Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, but you can't crucify me. So they all seem happy though.
They seem happy. Aramis was promoted to GM. Sounds like he's doing a pretty good job.
Oh, okay, cool. Master plan and enhancements.
John covered all of the project updates, but I do want to say, once Nancy gets back, I'll be working with the HOG on picking dates to continue the surveys of the park, so stay tuned.
Field trips.
What are we up to? Commissioner comments?
Yes.
Can you tell us what happened to the Youth Basketball League at JOJ?
Yeah, so previously, we had discussed about creating a youth basketball program. Due to, we had done a lot of research and done a lot of marketing efforts to engage a lot of people to participate in that program. And we only received 15 signups, which doesn't allow us to create a full league as part of the youth basketball with all the different age divisions. So instead of canceling the program, we have shifted it to a youth basketball clinic. And so the kids are still meeting weekly to ensure that they still have a space to play basketball, learn learn the basic skills and the fundamentals of basketball, with hopes to bring back a future full-on youth basketball league. So while the youth basketball program component is canceled, it's been shifted into a clinic instead.
Does the community know that? Sorry.
Yes, the registrants for that program were all informed and are still attending the class at JOJ. And so that's already been communicated out. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was just curious if we've had a league previously.
It's been over 10 years that we've had a youth sports program. So we have not created a youth sports program, and so which is why we're looking at starting something.
That's a good way to grow it. Start with a clinic.
Do the high schools do anything for their youth? Like, I know like we used to, back in that era, we would have a youth program that the high school players, we would actually serve as coaches. And the intent was obviously to get kids in your school system and get them educated and get them connected to players, then they come to the games. But the high school coaches are obviously incented to have more players in the pipeline. So I wasn't sure if we were competing against something else maybe that's being done by high school coaches or high school programs.
No, I don't think we're competing with anyone. I think it's just a matter of making sure the word is out, because we actually get a lot of youth members that utilize our gymnasiums at both facilities for open play. It's increasing the culture of creating a set league, which is not something that we've really established here. And that is a partnership that we've been looking to create and working on, is establishing that volunteer coach with the youth, with the high schools. And it's just, something that we need to work to build on.
Anybody else have any comments? Go ahead.
Quickly. There's going to be a No Kings 3 rally on Saturday, April 28th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, and it'll be held at Palm Springs City Hall. And our guest speakers are going to include the Lieutenant Governor, Eleni Kornelakis, Lee McGowan, who is the politics girl, you see her on social media, and politician Clarissa Cervantes. I just want to wish everyone an early happy Passover and an early happy Easter. And finally, just to wrap up, I'm putting together a new Democratic club in the desert. It's in formation right now, and it's going to be called the Harvey Milk Democrats of Coachella Valley. And we'll be having our first organizational meeting on Tuesday, April 28th at 6 p.m. at Democratic headquarters of the desert. And the club will address the needs of the LGBTQ community. All are welcome. And if I just may backtrack, I said, for the No Kings Rally, March 28th. I think I may have said April 28th. That's March 28th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at Palm Springs City Hall. And that's it.
Is the office for the Democratic Club across from Target? Right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's where it's located. Yep.
And if you would like to go after the rally over to the transgender event that's happening on Saturday at Demuth Rec Center. There's going to be a lot of fun, amazing things happening there too.
You said 428 at what time, Harvey Milk?
For the No Kings
No, Harvey Milk.
of Harvey Milk, that's going to be at 6 PM on April 28th, which is a Tuesday, and just the Democratic of the Desert headquarters.
Thanks.
I have one thing. We're really excited. We're bringing back Easter Sunrise at O'Donnell. It was hosted for over 100 years, started in 1917 with Nellie Kaufman. It's a really, really pretty area. It's right on the fourth hole. You park right on Alejo or in the Jewish Community Center. And it is dark and early, but we're really excited. There used to be 1,500 people on the fairway for this event, and we're bringing it back.
What is the event? You go there? Easter morning for sunrise, is
Yeah.
this what it is?
Yeah, so we have 4 opera singers coming to do some arias. We have an interfaith chaplain and a non-denominational Christian pastor coming to speak a little bit. And it's a really cool experience, seeing that sunrise on our property over the mountains. It's beautiful. I would say dress warm though, it's freezing last year.
This year, maybe not so much.
Any cost or any food?
Nope, totally free. And it is early, bring your own coffee. Sunrise is set at 6:28, gates open half an hour before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is. It is really early, but it'll be over within an hour. It's gonna be short and sweet, and it's really just there for that sunrise community experience.
And if anyone wants to volunteer for the World Art Day in the park, please let me know, reach out to me.
It's on the 11th, right?
On the 11th.
Anybody else? Can I get a motion to adjourn the Parks and Rec?
Second.
Parks and Rec Commission meeting adjourned at 7:27.
That'll be
p.m.
unanimous.
On April 27th.